Hello, everyone. Welcome to Originator Tech live, coming to you directly where all sorts of platforms are out there. Hopefully, you're watching us, and if you are not watching us from originatortech.com, just go to the site right now. You'll be able to register, get some access to some of the resources that we have available, and provide you with some information afterwards. So we create Originator Tech with the idea of providing you, our readers, with tools and the technology that other originators are winning with. Generally speaking, the people who join us for these events are either the top originators or the people who are making the technology for the tech for those top originators. And listen, there's no tech stack is complete without Sales Boomerang. So without further ado, I got my buddy Alex from Sales Boomerang. Alex, looking fantastic as always.
Hey man, thank you. Right back at you. Right back at you. Great to catch up. It's been some time since you and I have had this experience. So it's great to be here on this digital stage, which makes us worldwide, right?
Well, listen, and if you notice, actually, whenever we're doing these, I always kind of put you guys like right up at the front, because listen, you guys are total leaders, and listen, you come from a technology background, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
of
course, yeah.
You have the technology background, and I always forget this because of the significance you've had in the mortgage industry in such a short amount of time. So, without further ado, take it away. I know you've got some stuff actually you want to share. If you want to just give us a little quick introduction about, who Alex and who Sales Boomerang is, and then you let me know. I'll queue up your presentation.
Beautiful. Well, listen, you can go ahead and queue it up and put that on screen. I'm already sharing some things, so if you want to put that up for everyone to see. Again, Andrew, thank you so much. Again, everyone that's joined this conversation, thank you for joining. Alex, co-founder, CEO here at Sales Boomerang, Chief ROI Booster, as I like to call myself, because that's what we focus on. You're about to see that in just a minute. So, look, a little bit of background for those that don't know exactly who we are. We wear our mission on our shirts. We post it. It's the first thing we talk about. We don't start talking about our technology. We don't start talking about the cool engineering and things that we have in place, but more about the mission, the why we've done this in the first place, what brought us to the place that we're at today. And that is the mission of no borrower left behind, making sure that every consumer that engages with you, with this lending industry, with this industry as a whole, has an experience that they can appreciate, and they know that you have their back, because you will never let them be left behind. And we've built a piece of software around this philosophy, right? Instead of building a technology and then figuring out what it's for, we had a philosophy and we built technology around that philosophy, right? And that is to make every borrower feel like they're part of a bank, part of a lender, part of you, instead of hoping that somebody will help them out in the future, or I hope they come back to me. And this is really focusing on how in the lending industry, for those of you that know, it's the retention rate and repeat business rate is very low, and it's a strange thing. It's always been a strange thing for me to understand. Bumping into this industry in 2015 and started to think about the technology and purpose in 2016, it was really strange to find out that there's such a small retention rate in the mortgage industry. So look, I'm going to show you guys some things about our tech today, but I do want to dive into the reason why we're here, and what Andrew was talking about, why he often wants us to appear in these segments and really talk to the industry, is because of what we've accomplished, right? Over the last 3 years, you can consider what we've done a very, very in-depth experiment, right? And over 100 lenders now, 108 to be exact, have joined us in this journey. And really, all of these 100+ lenders, they have the same philosophy as us, and they turn Sales Boomerang on to boost the results from their philosophy, which is what? Their philosophy is borrower retention, borrower experience, LO retention, LO experience, increasing referrals, improving the referral relationships, and being able to give back to your referral partners as much, and in reality, way more than the referral partners can ever give back to you. You guys will see that in just a second why. And these are the 100 most innovative lenders that we've come across. Did I get frozen? Oh, here we go.
Nope.
No, my screen got frozen for some reason. Not me. I was like, wait, nothing is moving. So look, these organizations that we work with, they are always thinking about the bleeding edge of technology, not because they want to be the cool kids on the block with the cool new tech. It's because they're thinking about what we just mentioned: borrower retention, LO retention, LO recruitment, repeat business, referral business. And you can't do that on your own. We are able to pack in 48 hours of work into an 8-hour period these days because of all the automation, because of all the technology. And it's actually expected from our consumers, our customers, right? And so we partner with the best of the best, and the best of the best use the best of the best technology, not just Sales Boomerang, but in general, they're implementing all of this wonderful tech for themselves. And here's what we found, right? So over a course of 3 years, we've discovered that there's a certain group of lenders that just make this work incredibly well, right? Those are the people that have two different mindsets, and they sound very similar, but they're completely different. One group says we want to grow. The other says we have a plan to grow. We work best with those that say we have a plan to grow. The people that want to grow, that's great. They're just not ready, right? They want to. They still have to figure things out. They're still looking at things. And what we found over the course of these 3 years and over 100 lenders that we work with very closely, track results. You're about to see a really cool statistic about that. We found the ones that we work with best are the ones that invest in themselves and the ones that have a plan, right? The smartest lenders out there don't want to grow. They know how they're going to grow. And 2021 is probably going to be the most pivotal year in the last few years in having a growth plan. This is the year where all of your originators are looking at you and saying, hey, what's the plan, boss? What's the plan, captain? Where are we steering this ship? Because this is not going to look like it did this past year. How are we doing this, right? I want to make sure that I'm comfortable. I'm not jumping ship. I'm not getting into the little raft on the side and swimming away to safety. I feel like I'm in a safe place. This thing is not going down, right? And so the difference is that in the industry as a whole, it's about 15% retention. Our clients can see up to 65. We have some clients that are seeing over 65% retention. Every one of our clients is doubling their retention rates, period. That's just happening across the board, right? And so again, I have to reiterate this. We are not a lifeline. We are not a life raft. We are something that gets into your business with you. You already have the strategy. You already have the desire. You're looking to tune it up, tweak it up, supercharge it, right? And what happens when you supercharge it, you get those retention rates through the roof. And then every single person that implemented Sales Boomerang is seeing 24x ROI. For every dollar they spend, they get 24x back. That's the normal. Now we have organizations that are getting 100x, right? And why are they getting 100x is because they're literally just supercharging their existing strategy. They're going, hey, we know this is important. What's the best resources out there for us to pour fuel on this fire? And boom, this is what happens. Okay. So I'm sharing all this because I want everyone on this call, everyone that's listening, to really think, why am I here? Why am I listening to this? What's important for me? Do I fit in here? Right? The smartest lenders are those lenders that have a plan and want to pour fuel on it, supercharge it. If you're not quite there yet, if you're not thinking about your tech stack, if you're not thinking about retention, referral business, recruiting the best talent, retaining the best talent, because this year is going to be the hardest to retain the best talent. Then maybe there's a couple more steps before you get into a place where it's like, hey, now I'm ready to turn on all of these different technologies. So get there, create the strategy. So one last thing, and then we're going to jump into a presentation. I'm going to share my screen with you guys about looking into the platform, and then hopefully some Q&A stuff. I think we have, what do we have, a total time, Andrew, of how much?
So we got about another 10 minutes left. Call it 11, 12 minutes exactly.
Beautiful. Now listen, we have plenty of time. The demo, guys. Okay. So if you haven't heard me speak about this before, demoing Sales Boomerang is like, I don't know, getting a demo on how to use your remote control on your TV, right? It's automated. right? We're this invisible force that powers all of those technologies that we talked about and brings out the best in all of them, right? Because this is intelligence on your customers. We're letting you know when your borrowers are ready for a loan and what they're ready for, which we'll show you just a minute. So the demo itself is going to be super fast, and I think we'll leave some time for questions, which I'd love to get some questions from people. But why is this on screen? This is very important. Over the course of 3 years, we got about 100 lenders, a little more than 100 lenders that had joined us on this adventure, right? On this journey, this massive experiment to see if infusing your database with intelligence will help you gain traction and build relationships and grow your business in a more efficient, more profitable way and actually make everyone happier. The answer is yes, that's true. And so what we're planning to do in 2021, and this is why I want to share this, Andrew, this is the first time we're talking about this live to anyone. Where's that sound of exclusive? Like, you know, we need
drum
that.
roll.
Drum roll, yeah. We need that air horn. The DJs use it all the time. We need that. You need that. You need that mic'd up. So this year in 2021, we're opening up about 100 seats into Sales Boomerang. What we've done in 3 years, we're planning to open it up to doing what we did in 3 years in 1 year. And in the first 3 years, we had to be very, very selective. We were surgical in our approach. We were just extremely methodical in who we work with, why we're working with them, what they're going to get from us, what can we learn from them, how's this going to work? Well, the experiment has proven to be a huge success, and now we said, you know what, let's just open it up. So all those lenders out there that have a retention strategy, recruitment strategy, want to increase their borrower referrals, want their referral partners to refer way more business to them than they've ever have, and refer business back to your referral partners than you've ever have, then if you have that mindset already, if I'm saying something novel to you, you've never thought about this before, you have some other things to take care of. But if this isn't novel, this is in your blood, this is in your DNA, this is what you want to accomplish in year 2021, this is the perfect time. We've opened it up. A lot more people can jump on this thing, can supercharge their retention, referral, and, you know, profitability part of their business as well. Then this is the time to do it. So I just wanted to share that. We've never kind of talked about this to the industry. We've been really careful about how we onboard this year, because and why we're doing this is to be clear, is because this is what we've discovered, right? It's the type of organizations that are now coming directly to us. They want this, and we're seeing these kinds of results, right? The 24x results. And by the way, one last slide, and then I'm going to jump into the presentation. So we've been called a utility in the mortgage industry, where it's no more a question of, hey, should we have some sort of borrower intelligence? Is it going to be helpful? Is an automated system important? We've gone from, you know, it'd be nice to have, to, hey, it's a utility. It's like running water and electricity, right? You can see the monopoly cards here, right? It is a utility. It is something that it's no longer a question. The only question is, how will you do it? Will you build something yourself? Which, by the way, you can reach out to us and we'll help you build your own borrower intelligence system inside your organization. Make sure you're doing it great, give you all the support that you need and doing it right, access to the experts. Or do you want to just have an automated solution right out the gate, right? And so it is a utility. We're excited to get to that place in the industry. And so let me jump in. Everyone that's on the call, please ask questions, put things in chat, you know, whatever you have as they come up, ask. This should be interactive. And Andrew, you can stop me anytime. You and I have done this many times before. And so, you know, interrupt me if someone has something to ask. All right, guys. So here's the demo. It's going to take a couple minutes. That's how fast this works. We integrate with every single technology that you already have, right? Your marketing automation, your CRM, the place where your borrowers live. We now wrap it with intelligence, and then we fully automate it, giving you a three-dimensional experience with your database, rather than, you know, hoping somebody responds to a message, hoping you can figure out exactly when you need to call someone. All of the guessing and hope is out the window. It's specifically aimed at your database and your borrowers and the results you want to get for your borrowers. So right now, the basic notifications that is just a check the box must have in this industry today. You must have information about when your borrowers list their home for sale, when they've improved their credit, when they're shopping for a mortgage with a competitor, right? They're cheating on you, where their equity position is currently, where their rates are currently, right? Those are the basic must have, gold standard kind of thing. KP. So Now we're talking about what's next for the industry, what's next for you guys, what's next for the smart lenders, the innovators out there, the ones that want to help their borrowers make their decision and say, hey, this is my lender, that's it, because I know they have my back. And it looks something like this, right? Being able to be notified when your borrowers, let's say, for instance, let's do a rate and term for just a minute. When somebody's qualified for a particular loan with you, right? So let's just go to Che here for just a minute. This person is qualified based on your criteria, which I'm going to show you in a second how easy it is to set up. And you say, hey, this person, Che Evans, is qualified for a program with me. How do I know? Because right here, this person has met all the criteria for me, for my organization, to get this loan and save $210 a month, right? Not only are we telling you they're qualified, but we're telling you what the benefits are based on you. Actually, we're not telling you anything. You are telling yourself. Your database is referring an opportunity to you. This is a database referral that's saying, hey, raise their hand. This person is qualified. They have a 5.5 interest right now. Just, these are just placeholders. Obviously, nobody's 5.5% anymore, but they have a 5% interest rate. You're currently offering 2.5. They've seasoned. It's a 38-month-old loan. Their credit score is at 680 or higher. Their LTV is at 74%. This is the value of their home. This is the balance. All of these things, and they're qualified. So we know everything there is to know about them. We know what program they're qualified for you. Now you can call and contact the borrower. I would put her on tracks, right? Automated through your CRM, automated through your marketing automation system. And here's the thing. Here's how simple it is for you guys to do this, okay? Whatever kind of loan, it's a what you want world. We're turning your database into a loan search engine. Write that down, everyone. Literally, your database becomes a loan search engine. What do we need to do more of? Oh, we need to do more conventional loans. Fantastic. More conventional rate and terms. Set up your criteria. Oh, we need to do more FHA streamlined. Set up your criteria. You need to do VA IRRRL. Set up your criteria. You don't want to set up your criteria. You want the brain to do the magic for you. That's not a problem either. You go to the value section, and instead of saying, hey, here's my criteria, tell me when somebody in my database is qualified for this loan, instead, just put in the benefit. I want them to save $200 or more a month. When they can save $200 or more a month, notify me. And we will fill in the criteria following your guidelines. So you don't have to do anything except for say the benefit that you want somebody to experience. And then the system will automatically put the things in the right place. This equity, this credit, this LTV, all this good stuff. That's it. And then it sends those notifications into your loan officer's email boxes or into the CRM or into your marketing automation platforms and automates the conversations, reaches out to your borrowers, reaches out to your loan officers, creates tasks for them. And by working with your existing tech stack, your loan officers have to learn nothing new. They have to learn no new logins. They don't have to remember passwords. There's no tech to learn. It all appears in your existing frame where they work out of every single day. And it's just giving them an extra reason to contact the borrower with good news. This is a good news platform. The only time we alert you is when a borrower has a benefit, never any time before then. So that's us. That's why we're a utility. That's why we're looking for some smart lenders. That's why we laugh all the time here at Sales Boomerang, and we say S happens automatically with Sales Boomerang. It just happens. It just happens. All right. It's just wizardry. It's beautiful. And so we're very proud of our partners for helping us. All the lenders we work with, like KP from PureMG, and all the other partners that we work with, that has helped us tune this up to a place where now the system can literally automatically tell you what loans your borrowers are qualified and why they benefit from it. So stop. We'll answer some questions.
So Alex, what happens if, so let's say I'm not as big as PRMG. Let's have, I'm doing maybe 100 million a month. Like what size organizations have you guys worked with?
Great question. So listen, it's a mix, right? We don't limit someone by their size. It's about where they are here. What are they thinking about? Oh, Sales Boomerang, save us. Wrong approach, right? That's not what we're here for. We're here to literally supercharge your existing plan. Like if retention is important, repeat business is important, referrals is important, recruitment of great talent is important, then this just supercharges that, right? That's all. So the size of the organization here, to have a cliche here, right? Size does not matter in this case. It's all about where you are, mindset. Do you have a plan, or do you hope you can succeed next year? And if you have a plan, we're there for you.
That's awesome. So what does it take to get started? Like let's say let's say someone actually checks this out. They're saying, hey, this is great, but we've got a big organization, legacy systems. It takes we're not just a small mortgage company with 10 originators. Like, what does implementation look like for the biggest banks that you work with?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it all depends on your process, right? If you have a fast process and working with partners and vendors like us, and going through compliance, and you have a resource in your organization, we have somebody coming up here in just a moment. Katherine Campbell is going to be speaking from Assurance. She's another great partner. They're a large organization. They were able to implement very fast. So the answer is, we can get you live. If everything is checked off on your side, we can get you live within a week or two. It typically takes 30 to 45 days to get everything implemented and people starting to get their notifications because of internal resources being set up and making sure everyone checks their boxes. But we can move extremely fast. We are one of the lightest setups you'll ever have because we integrate with your existing system. So there isn't something new to set up, people getting training on new logins. None of that is required. So we move extremely fast, which is why we also have the 80+% adoption rate.
Which, and by the way, so thank you for the introduction to Katherine. We spent actually some time on the phone last night, and oh my God, it's just amazing what she's done. And she said something that I just blew my mind. And I got to put this on the screen. We're no longer allowed to be traditional companies that have a digital arm. We've got to think about this as a digital company focusing on the transactional experience. And,
I love it.
Yeah, it's just probably. And so, listen, if you're watching this now, stay tuned. Catherine's gonna come on a little bit. Actually, next up we have Dave come from Capacity. He's gonna talk about what they're doing over at Capacity. And I know Sales Boomerang, you guys work with them, right? You guys have
yes,
with them.
Yeah, they're amazing. The things that they do, the partnership that we're about to build together. I don't even know if he's on. He could maybe jump on and we can riff a little. But they do some amazing things. Can't wait to work with them. Oh, look at you. Magic happening. Hey.
Dave, hope you didn't mind me just popping you in there, but Alex mentioned you, and I appreciate you working through some tech issues. I stayed away from the OS update.
You're a better man than I am for that.
No, I'm scared. I'm just scared. That's it. I'm not a better man. I'm just scared. You obviously have actually the tech experience. You've got to be out there. So I appreciate you working through the issues. But if you guys wouldn't mind talking about actually the way you guys work together, because it's amazing. I've seen actually you guys on different panels working together. You guys are going out there creating content. So talk a little bit about actually how Capacity works with Sales Boomerang.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think Alex gives a fantastic presentation, and I need a few more Gandalfs in my life. So big shout out there.
No, I'm growing my beard out, you see?
Exactly. No, just to kick off, I think, first of all, Sales Boomerang's built a fantastic platform. And one of the ways that we've kind of gone to market is that we want to be the glue that sits on top of the mortgage stack. And so Sales Boomerang is obviously a very important piece of that puzzle, alongside your CRM and some of your other core components, your LOS. And so the way we think about it is that we want Capacity to sit on top of all of your apps and help coordinate between when you should send that email, when you should follow up with this particular prospect, getting information on a particular loan, et cetera. And so we're excited to be working with folks like Alex and his team on integrating in with Capacity via our developer platform and bringing this stuff to life.
Yeah, and I got to tell you again, what's cool, David, is that Katherine is the connector here, right? She saw this first. You guys will hear her talk, and you'll hear David talk in just a minute, which you guys are going to fall in love with this amazing platform that David's going to talk about. But again, we just want to shine a bright light on Katherine. Like, she's such an innovator. She's so forward thinking that she takes two platforms and goes, wow, we can make magic happen between these two if they work together. And you're going to get to hear why later today. No, this is so exciting. It's so fun, and what you guys are doing with artificial intelligence and the way we're going to help borrowers really fall even more deeply in love with their lending partners is sort of the goal here. So this was great. Andrew, thank you. David, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. we could stay and riff for hours if we really wanted to, but let's let you take the stage and take the light here. Andrew, thank you so much. David, thanks everyone for joining. Any questions that I didn't answer, Andrew, you can pass on to me and the team, and we'll make sure to answer them. Just jump onto salesboomerang.com if you guys need anything else from us. Love you guys. I'm out.
Fantastic. Thanks, Alex. David, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited. I've been hearing actually more and more about you guys and some of the amazing things that you guys have been doing there. Really, really excited. I'm just going to see, you're going to be sharing your screen, right?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let's get this bad boy fired up here. Share screen.
Wonderful.
Okay.
And I'm ready to queue you up.
And there we go. Are you able to see my screen?
Yep, here we go. Boom. There it is.
All right. Thank you all for taking the time out. And again, I feel very humbled to follow Alex on the listing here. So I'll do my best to keep us entertained and informed at the same time. I'm David Karadish, CEO and co-founder here at Capacity. Capacity is a support automation platform tailor-built for the mortgage industry to help your team do its best work. I could sit here and show you a bunch of slides, but I'm from the Show Me State here in Missouri, so I'd rather show it to you rather than tell you. So let's go ahead and dive in. So this is the Capacity bot, in this case running within a Slack environment. Capacity can be on Microsoft Teams, it could be on your intranet, it could be on your customer-facing website. So I can go to Capacity and I can say hi, and it'll come back and say hi. Or I can go back to Capacity and just like talking with another team member within my organization, I can go to Capacity and say hi again. And this time it'll come back to me with just a little hint of some snark and say, oh, David, you just said that. So super high level. Capacity has conversational history. It's got context built in. So it knows what you mean by what you say. So if I asked a question like, what loans are closing this month? And sorry, there's just a little 2-second delay here from my screen share. Capacity is going to go out and go into my LOS, come back to me instantly with a response based on all of the loans that are closing. You can see here we have 3 different loans, and this could link me into either, say, Ellie Mae's Encompass or whatever LOS I happen to use. I can even do a little link to some of the locations there. Not only can you ask questions about your overall portfolio and pipeline, you can also ask about a specific loan. So I could say something like, show the Johnson loan. And now Capacity will again go into my LOS, log in as me, use my credentials, and come back and say, oh, here is all the information on the loan, the rate lock, the borrower, the status, etc. Again, simple, straightforward, frictionless. Now, we've plugged Capacity into a wide variety of different applications. So there are some cases where you can ask a question and get a simple response back. There are other cases where you're going to have more of a guided conversation. So if I wanted to know something like, who is the primary contact for West Community? West Community is one of our clients here at Capacity. Capacity knows that question ties back to my Salesforce instance. It'll log in as me into Salesforce, come back and ask me, am I looking for an opportunity or an account? I'll go in and select opportunity. It will now search through my Salesforce instance, find the 2 different West Community Credit Union opportunities. And now when I select this one, it will now come back with Jason's contact information. And again, just simple, straightforward, frictionless. We're trying to make all of your mortgage intelligence accessible. Now, we've shown Capacity running internally. Let's kick out of Slack and go to more of a customer-facing example. So this is for the folks at home. You guys can play around with this yourselves. If you go to Planet Home Lending, you'll see Stella powered by Capacity. So I can go in and ask, in this case, Stella a question. And you'll notice here, as I start typing, it can actually go in and do autocomplete and direct me toward the questions that Capacity knows how to answer. So in this case, I typed in what is hazard insurance. It came back to me instantly with a response. Every response has a thumbs up, thumbs down. Whenever I thumb that up, We're training Capacity's machine learning to match to that a little more often. Every time I thumb that down, we can bring in a live agent to answer the question instantly, or we can follow up via ticket. Another example we're doing here externally at homefundit.com, which is a brand of CMGs. They have branded this based on their French Bulldog Peyton. So I could go here and ask Peyton the question. What would be a good one? Let's ask about as a realtor, what does it cost for a client if I do a referral or recommendation? Again, comes back and gives me the instant response. Simple, straightforward, frictionless. Now, in terms of managing a platform like this, you might say, okay, David, this is great. You've got this bot. It's answering all these internal questions, all these borrower-specific questions. How do I manage the knowledge base? So this is the Capacity console, super high level. You think of this as the brain of Capacity. It's broken out into a couple of different sections. We've got our help desk, our knowledge base, our document mining, our app center, our developer platform, workflows, analytics, and settings. Now, I could go in and click on any one of these particular directories and go see the information around that particular question. So in this case, I could go click on, say, facilities, and then Capacity will show me all of the information related to that particular topic. And the beauty of this is the way that we've designed it, you can ask whatever question you want and organize your knowledge base in whatever format you'd like. And so in this case, we've got all the top questions around the facilities. Now, one of the things that we've run into as we started working with more and more of our clients is that they have external integrations that they want us to connect to. So can you connect to Velocify? Can you connect to HubSpot? Can you connect to Sales Boomerang? Can you connect to Salesforce? So with our developer platform, the beauty of this is you can make Capacity capacitize any application you have that has a public interface. So as an example, I'll go back and show my Salesforce one. I can click on this particular app and you can see that we've got over 40 different skills that come out of the box. And if you want to add your own custom applications to this or custom APIs to this, you can do that as well. All right, so if you think about Capacity in terms of the bot to answer your questions, and then these app integrations to pull resources from the various parts of the org, we want to sum up what we do in what we call workflows. So I'm going to show a very quick demo here of how you can make workflows work for you. So think of a workflow as taking an offline process, digitizing it, and assigning steps to that process to the Capacity bot. So I'm going to go in and start by looking at my loan origination workflow. And the beauty of the way that we've designed this is that your workflows can represent whatever steps of the mortgage process you like. So here we've got collecting the application, doing verification, submitting the underwriting, doing external credit agency reports, bureaus, approvals. You can place a workflow within another workflow. And the reason that we really like to highlight that is that you might have one team that works on that particular workflow that really doesn't need to know about the outer process that it's contained in. They just focus on that particular part of either external bureau approvals or loan mod, that sort of thing. So again, with more time, we can go through and show you more of the details of the workflow itself, but super high level, I'll just hit on the highlights. You can set up approvals and broadcasts. You can pull files from the cloud drive. You can take on guided conversations if you want your borrower to be able to have a back and forth set of questions. We've talked about the sub workflows. You can also create a ticket in the help desk. So if there's any follow-up work that couldn't be automated, you can do that. And then again, all of those apps we talked about earlier are available to drop those integrations directly into the conversation. Now, the last thing I want to talk about today, which is brand new for us and something I don't think we've demoed before yet, so that you could think of this as our first big debut. And it's this concept that we call smart docs. Now, David, what do you mean by that? So when we started, initially people would send us their documents, we'd turn them into a bunch of Q&A, put them in our knowledge base. Then over time, what we would do is we would actually say, okay, well, we don't want to be doing that. You don't want to do that. Go upload your documents into our knowledge base. We'll index them. We'll scan them so you can ask questions into your regs. So that works really well with completely unstructured documents where you only see one or two of that particular type of document. On the other end, we had folks who came to us to connect to their databases. They have proprietary databases that were built out specifically around mining information in a very structured form. So we had our database connectors and our APIs, and we got our document search for our unstructured documents. But then we met this kind of murky middle situation where we had organizations that would come to us and say, David, I've got a document that's really unstructured, but I want to treat it like it's a database. I want to be able to ask questions into it. I want to read it. I want to be able to treat it like it's a database. So we built this concept we call Smart Docs, which I'm going to kind of just very briefly show you here today. And the idea is that we want to take a document, treat it like it's a database so that you can access the information you need. So I'm going to start out. Let me just pull this over here from the other screen. So real quick, this is an escrow statement, and I'm not sure. This is we actually changed the names and the numbers, so don't worry about showing actual PII here. But this is an escrow statement for Bob Sims, and you can see, Bob's got his loan number, he's got his account shortage, he's got his address, all of the information associated with this particular escrow statement. Well, what we went ahead and did is we said, okay, we're going to take this document template and we're going to treat it like it's a database. So I've got here on the screen an example of the escrow template. You can see it's got the client name, the letter date, the loan number, all the fields that you'd expect to be able to pull from this escrow statement. So the particular organization we were working with on this, I had a team of people who would literally pick up that document, stare at it, check all the fields manually, compare it back to their LOS or their system record, and then try to make sure that all the information is synced up. Instead of having to do that, we now have the ability to take that document, use OC. By the way, I didn't pick this up. This is an image. This isn't a textual file. You can see here by my highlights. Take that image file, convert it via OCR, and now treat it like it's a database. And I'm going to show that here for you just a second. So this is an example of those workflows we were talking about earlier. I have this kind of Smart Docs, ML Docs test example here. I can go into my data retrieval and my mine document step, and you can see here we were able to pull out all of Bob's information, his name, the address, the loan number, the amount, etc. And again, this is a little nerdy to geek out on all the data in the database here. But the idea is that we can take a document like Bob's escrow, extract the fields, send it off to whatever system of record you like, so that you can take the time and effort and energy out of manually reviewing these docs. We're doing the same thing with regs. We're doing the same thing with policies and procedures, all the major document types that you'd want to be able to interact with. Last thing, I mentioned that Capacity is designed to automate your questions and now automate your tasks. The last part of our platform is for anything that can't be automated, we have a help desk in between. And the way to think about our help desk is imagine taking all the best things you'd expect on, say, like a Zendesk or ServiceNow or Freshdesk, and just making it simple. So I've got an example here. Earlier, someone asked, are we licensed in Missouri? We can assign that automatically to a project. It actually got assigned to me because it was part of a demo. We can collect information from that guided conversation. When the question comes in, you can map it to an existing question, or you can go create a new, what we call exchange, where that becomes part of the knowledge base going forward. So if you're part of the underwriting help desk, if you're part of the support team, if you're part of the marketing team that's answering a lot of the questions that come from your internal team or from your borrowers, you can answer that question once, store it in the knowledge base, and then you never have to answer that question again. We like to call it no question left behind. All right, just to wrap up, we're here to help you with support automation. We do that by automating your Q&A. We answer 86% of questions automatically. We've got our automating of your tasks via both our dev platform and our workflows. Anything we can't automate in terms of questions or tasks becomes a help desk opportunity in the middle. But oh, by the way, that help desk is learning along the way, so you never have to answer the same question twice. With that, why don't we open up for questions? I don't know if it's my audio dropped or what, but
No,
there
it's
we go.
me.
Thank
It's
you.
me. It's not you. It's me. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm curious, actually, as far as like what data for, let's say, Sales Boomerang. So here we are, actually, they're an integration partner. What data from Sales Boomerang would be accessible, using the chat bot? And can you do things like, make changes to a search criteria that Sales Boomerang is using?
Yeah, that's the beauty of the way the
pull in
platform is
leads?
designed. Anything that's exposed via the API of the application we're integrating with is available. So if you wanted to change your search query, you can do that. If you wanted to go update some criteria, you can go do that. If you had an integration with Salesforce, you wanted to go, pull some contact information or go update a lead record, like as long as the API behind the application has that function available, we can connect to it. And that's the beauty of the openness and why we don't think of capacity as a product or even a product suite, although we have multiple products in our package. It's truly a platform to go connect to whatever systems of record, whatever systems of intelligence you use.
Fantastic. So what about the ability for partners to get access to data? So let's say I have a real estate agent I'm working with on a transaction. The real estate agent introduced it to the borrower, and we want to keep the real estate agent aware of the progress. Is that something actually that Capacity could do?
Yeah, the beauty of this is that you can set up whatever permission levels you want. So you might have a different role for a realtor versus for say an LO. You might have a different role for someone internal within the underwriting process or someone who's new. You can set up multiple concierges. You can have a concierge just internal, one external, one for realtors, one for who you name it. You can pass variables and parameters into the bot itself. And so we're doing this with one of our mortgage clients where they want a personal bot depending on which page you're on. We can go in and do that kind of customization.
Oh, that's amazing. That's fantastic. Listen, some amazing things. I got to say, I'm excited to hear about how Catherine's using this. So next, actually coming up, in just about a minute, we're gonna bring Katherine on. And by the way, if you haven't done so already, go to OriginatorTech.com. OriginatorTech.com. You'll be able to get a hold of Capacity. The link and their contact information is on their site. You'll be able to also register, so you can get some follow-up materials. So go to OriginatorTech.com. David, really appreciate you joining us again. I love actually the stuff that you guys are doing. It seems that a conversation about AI cannot be had in the mortgage business without talking about Capacity and the stuff that you and your team are doing there.
Thank you.
All right, we appreciate it. And without further ado, I'm going to bring Katherine on here. All right, Katherine.
Hello.
Welcome. Hold on for a sec. Let's just get this.
Okay, good deal. Connect.
Right here. So listen, I had a great conversation with you last night. I really what you said yesterday just blew my mind. I
loved your email this morning. My CEO forwarded it to me. I was like, yes, I did just have that conversation. That's efficient, bro. Efficient communication.
This is great. I hope I didn't butcher it too much, but we're no longer to be traditional companies that have a digital arm. We've got to think about this as a digital company and focus on transactional experience.
That's right. And actually, so I can think about it for a moment. It's really that we need to think of this as a digital industry. It's an industry shift. It is quickly, thanks to COVID, becoming the expectation of the borrower. That surprise and delight of, I could do this online. $4 trillion in business later. When you start to refinance and put people into a mortgage at that volume in 1 year, there are a new set of expectations that have quickly evolved. So it's really a digital industry, and it's how we're not even wondering if if we can do this, because we've done this across every other industry. In fact, we're already digital clients in every other industry, right? We're just figuring out how to do it correctly here and to get everybody on board. So I can share some screens. This is very much, I love Alex and David. It is so fun working with someone who has this much passion for this and what they're actually doing, because it takes that much energy and passion to move such a massive industry forward. And this becomes quickly the sort of vendor versus lender initiatives. So I can talk about those now if you'd like.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So hold on, let's go in here. And we're going to, so if you want to do a share screen, and I'll, oh, there we go. No, that's not you. All right, we got our next presenter coming. Oh, there we go. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Boom. There it is.
Okay, good deal. And let's see. All right, do you see this one slide here?
Yeah. Perfect.
Fantastic. Okay. So I thought this was speaking of the vendor versus lender, challenges, I thought this was very significant little cartoon to pull up because, in 2018, when I joined Assurance Financial, this was the conversation in the room outside of our CEO and COO, which is why I was able to move so quickly. So they really had the vision. Nobody could have guessed 2020, but boy, did they have a vision that we would eventually get here. So that idea of, 2 years ago when we were at, DIGMO, the Digital Mortgage Conferences, talking about digital transformation is years away. I don't see it happening anytime soon. Boom, we got hit by COVID-19 and here we go. So those of us that got a little further ahead of the game are in a very good position today. And now it's no longer a question of if I will, it is a matter of how we will. And so I think the biggest thing we need to remember to ask ourselves now is why will we? Why? Because if you look at the amount of money that has poured into fintech, right? $5 billion, well north of that last year. People are ready to sell you anything. If you listen to all the people that you have today, it can get very overwhelming about which pieces of technology are really significantly going to move the needle, and you cannot have them all. There's no company that's going to be able to digest all this. So why have it? Get together as an executive team first and determine why you have it. So no matter how you define it, let's look at the actual borrower journey, right? Everyone goes through the same concept, however you define your KPIs. There's some sort of a hello. I've either met you traditionally at a Starbucks if I'm an offline agent, online if I'm an online agent, you've clicked on the website, there's some sort of a hello. Ideally, they then raise their hand and say, I am interested, I'm a lead. They go through pre-qualification and application, production, and ideally become a client. So in 2018, everyone for the most part had some sort of an LOS, and it was really the year of the POS and MOS. So that we knew very early in the borrower's journey that if they visited or spoke to anyone and then became interested, we needed to have a strong CRM, right? A marketing operating system that could house a CRM and marketing automation, certainly direct marketing or marketing automation out of that system. Where we were a little ahead of the curve is that I recognized earlier on, having done this for other industries, that it was very critical that all of this sort of platform, this foundation of all the technologies we're going to pile up on top of, were fully integrated with two-way integrations. And so it wasn't just like, sales and marketing wants an MOS, and the LOs want a POS, and the operations teams wants a good LOS. So y'all all decide what you want. And that's why we created the Chief Digital Officer role, more to make sure that there is some congruency between these decisions that were being made and largely an effective communication and integration between them. So this is where, let me hide this here. This is where I coined something called the COS, because if we're going to start getting all of this data, recognizing that we needed to add more tools to this, where was it all going to go so that we could recognize an ROI, right? The big keyword that I believe 2021 is going to be all about with this technology. And so I call the COS a collaborative operating system. Instead of just pulling data out of your LOS, it's very important that we pull from the very beginning of the funnel all the way through so that we recognize, what is the conversion of a POS? Is it a higher conversion rate if they go through a point of sale system versus just starting, through your LOS and trying to get that data? So when we did this, I thought it was important to bring up this slide since you sent out that email. We created a STOP, a standard technology operating procedure. And it's where we ask people to please stop and think, what is the most efficient way to use our technology for communication, collaboration, and transformation, #OneTeam. Because the idea of sales and marketing sort of butting heads, how to move forward, had to be removed. And we, we made this tangible. Look, Andrew, I found my stop signs.
Yes. That's so cool.
So we make it. I'm going to show you at least 14 technologies that we've created and people are logging into, and that becomes very overwhelming. We'll talk about it, a more seamless way to log into them, but nonetheless, it's great to have something tangible, and that when they step away from the computer and they're not logging in, they can remember at the water cooler, that's right, we are doing this digital transformation, and there's no getting out of it. We made mouse pads, we made stickers, right? So I just highly encourage you to make it fun, but also have something that hangs in the offices that helps them sort of get out of the computer and recognize that you're all in this together. This is a very quick overview of the actual stop that we created. This is the operating procedure where we'll just go through hello, click add contact, NTE, enter first name, last name, email, and our phone. Just that simple. TE is the light blue technology, total expert down here, right? So as you go through the entire process and application process and closing, you'll recognize what tools you'll be using when, because it's very overwhelming to go from a very, dated legacy industry like the mortgage industry into all of these new tools. So that was just a quick highlight on stop. Okay, so that's 2018, 2019. Let's make sure we get our right MOS and POS full integration. So in 2020, we said, okay, we want to make sure we have what I call micro integrations. And the micro integration means it starts to focus on the experience over just a transaction, over just enter your name in this field and upload this form to this POS. It becomes sort of an experience. And what that means as a micro integration is that likely if someone starts a loan with you and gets as far as, particularly getting pre-qualified, they likely are going to close that loan with you. Your pull-through rate should be pretty high. So if you get all the way to production and it's time to close, they're not going to say, you don't have an e-closing solution? Oh, I'm starting all over, right? They're not going to do that. They're going to go sign, paperwork for a half an hour and burn their hand off, right? They're going to do it. But it's a surprise and delight that's like, wow, I did all of this online. And again, because we've closed so much volume this year, next year, it will most likely be an expectation. So then we have, making sure that the website analytics, Google Analytics from the very first visits, what sort of campaigns are we driving into this machine and how is it all panning out? Again, driving all of that data into a COS. So I did think about it after we talked last night, Andrew, and I thought if I were to build a sign for this year, it'd be go, like get over it. Please go and think, because we don't have time to stop anymore. It's all go from here on out. And, it's going to be a wild ride, no doubt about it. Okay. So here's the big reveal, right? Here is the technology that we use. So as our core platform, I'm very proud to boast that we have Total Expert, Blend, and Encompass. And that is the basis of which we distribute all marketing automation, communications. We drive all of that front-end business into Blend. We went from just about a year and a half ago being a 29% digital application shop to a 79% digital application shop right now. So that is, that initial adoption was difficult because you had people that either opted in or not. COVID made this an absolute mandate. So, this is very big opportunity to wow these clients and keep them clients for life. Okay, so this is some of our tech stack. I am going to walk you through this very busy screen here. Not every single tool is here. We have some native tools that we release like Teams and the ability to quickly, instantly communicate, particularly as we were remote now. And OneDrive, so that we're sharing data in the cloud, very safely. And so there's lots more, that are not here, but the significant things that people may be considering are largely here. So from a MarTech solution, marketing technology, we have Hootsuite. We also have Amplify, which is an app on your phone, and LOs in the field have the ability, or recruiters have the ability to quickly, release any already approved social media that's being created by marketing. social survey is our ratings and reviews. And this is a very critical piece, something that seems like a fairly simple technology and really kind of surprises and delights the LOs. Like, wow, on my Facebook, I suddenly have this feed going, right? I'm not having to do all of my own posting. These 5-star reviews are showing up for me. This is great. It does much, much more for you than that from a back-end perspective of online search. So remember that engines like Google value people's opinions more than anybody. Developers are very, very smart, and they have figured out, through metadata and certain ways to sort of try to trick the system throughout the years. And so now the foremost authority is, each other. And this is why it is so critical to get very engaged in all social media. Sales Boomerang, you already heard from today, right? So if you're going to spend all this time and effort driving traffic into ideally your CRM, how are you going to manage it? Around 18% of business is repeatable business in the industry. That's the average. Wow. I mean, that's crazy. So, where is that other 82% of the business going? At the very least, you should be getting alerts on your own database. That is your gold mine to mine. So we certainly have a close relationship with those guys. Capacity we just talked about. Capacity for us, we decided to personify this, and we did that with Abby. I even have my little Abby doll here. She's got her little iPad ready to apply, and you can apply with her anytime. And so what capacity is for us is where you can ask Abby, and we have AI being developed out both for an external resource, and that's where borrowers will soon be able to ask Abby, and then an internal resource where, just like David was showing you, you could quickly be an LO and say, what are the Johnsons bringing to closing today? So these other tools that you see all can integrate into our COS that I discussed, which is Domo. And Domo has the ability, it's a massive system that's sort of like a capacity where it's garbage in, garbage out. The better data that you pull into capacity or Domo, the better data you get out. So where you make those integration points and who the authority leaders are on maintaining those data points is how you will learn, where in the journey your KPIs have gaps, and then how to fill those gaps, or certainly what your marketing team and good sales teams are for. So, I think, the last thing I'll mention, and then certainly take any questions that are out there, is that I find most people come to me and say, how did you decide on SnapDocs? And we can definitely dive into more of this whole e-closing if you'd like. This is definitely the space to be involved with very, very deeply right now. There's a lot going on there from a secondary market and investor market, how they're transitioning into buying these loans that go through a full digital process. That was really one of the main reasons, though the technology was capable much longer than just the last 2 years. We didn't have a back-end market that supported the technology experience. So if people e-signed, or certainly if they e-closed, you didn't have a secondary market that was buying that stuff. So today that's changing very quickly. We're all working together, and it must be a collaborative effort. There's plenty of time to compete, and we will be very good at that. But today, let's definitely collaborate. So when I consider, how do I pick these particular products? How did I decide on Total Expert or Blend? There's 3 things I really look at. One is how well financed are they? How much funding do they have? How willing are they to get it? And how capable are they of getting more? This is a very expensive venture. And don't let anyone kid you or potentially overbrag that they didn't need funding, because you do. Development is expensive. Integrations are expensive. General IP, and then really maintaining of sort of momentum of a team that moves this technology forward is very expensive. So that's one. The second is your talent. And in part that includes location. Where are you located? Do you have, easy access to good developers, good UI and UX experts, that is user interface and user experience experts? Because you can train somebody off the street to do the things you're trying to get them to do. But right now, at the momentum and the pace we're moving, it is much, much faster, easier, and a much better user experience if they have experience. So the talent and location is the second. And finally, are they already integrating with my top tools? Am I going to spend all of my time as the CDO, going to the field level of everything with these guys? Or are they already collaborating and we're working together for me to build this very composable business model where I choose the tools and bring them in, and then we make sure that they are already all playing nice together. So I think that those 3 tips are what I get asked about a lot and wanted to share.
Fantastic. So when did this happen? Like, I mean, obviously this doesn't happen overnight, but like, when did this digital transformation happen? I forget exactly the numbers, but you said you were in the teens for digital applications to 80s, I think you said right now. But like, when did this start? And like, has this been something that's just been part of the culture all along?
Well, let's see. I was going to stop share here. Did I stop share?
No.
Let's see. Stop share.
You're not sharing anymore.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So, well, when I joined these guys in 2018, I was actually doing some consulting for them, and they said, "Hey, would you come in and take over our point of sale integration? We decided, we want to narrow it down to these few. We want you to pick somebody and make sure that it gets adopted." And I said, I think I can do that from just a consulting basis. And they said, no. It's way too big of an investment. We want somebody in-house to do it. So I researched the mortgage industry. Did I really want to go back to the client side? Was I ready to, dive headfirst into, a fairly dated industry from a technology standpoint? And wow, it just was vast. And like I said, we've already done this for the insurance market, for other financial services. We did this for education, right? We did this for travel. So I was in San Francisco for 20 years and I got to watch all of these industries evolve. And so recognizing that we had nowhere to go but up with technology experience here, it became very exciting for me to be able to, show these guys the way. And they were more than happy to go with me on the journey. So it started very quickly. We made those decisions within the first month of me being there, that platform, that foundation level. And then just one after another, we started to adopt them. So Capacity is our latest technology integration. Artificial intelligence is the big differentiator for 2021 and really for the next, 2 to 3 years. And we like to think we're ahead of the game.
That's amazing. So what about originators? Like, how do you get originators on board? Because listen, you have originators who are doing a great job, especially this year. Like, they're just like, they don't want to hear about new technology. And you said, all right, we're having the busiest year of our lives. And we have this new thing that we're going to be actually ramming down your throat that you have to start implementing and using. So how do you present actually these new opportunities that are going to be better for the originator, better for the borrower, better for everyone? But how do you present them to the originator so they're not going to fight this?
Yeah, very good question. So a couple of things there. It is definitely our roles as executives to sort of exploit the success of these things, over-exploit them, because it's not as soon as you tell an LO, I will close your loan 4 days faster, or you will get, certainly more business or a higher rating or more clicks to your site because of this, then they're listening. And you do have to prove those things first. You have to have some successes. Just like you have people that line up for that iPhone, what is it, the iPhone 12 that's out now, right? Everybody's going to be lining up for Christmas to get this thing. You have early adopters, and ideally in your company, you likely do too. So you find those early adopters and you bring them in. They're excited about technology. Everybody has someone that's excited about the technology. And once you start to show through a tool like Domo that this is effective, they start to listen. When you have something like COVID that mandated it, then they have to. And so this has just been a perfect storm for this industry because, like I said in the beginning, with over $4 trillion, that have gone through this industry, many people have had a very different experience with this mortgage situation than any they've had in the past. And in fact, for many, it's their first time, right? Millennials are quickly coming on board, and they certainly expect a digital experience. So now, because of that, the next time they go to do it, they're looking at what? I'm not sure who to go with. So let me do some ratings and reviews search. Let me go on Google and search the reviews. And what are they finding? Wow, fastest, easiest refinance ever. I was able to upload everything, and I signed my my closing docs online. It was so easy. I signed from my phone. When they start reading reviews like this, you then have to start, meeting the expectations they already have. And so the industry is not evolving. And I stick by what I said. We are no longer just going to have a digital arm. We're digital companies, and we're figuring out exactly how everybody still, understands and moves forwards with us, because the number one thing that is so difficult in this industry is to make this easy. And only human beings can actually lock a loan and help somebody understand the product that they need. Gone are the days about, that we are just, answering, fields anymore. We're beyond field form. People can fill out their own fields and their forms. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. And originators can just focus on what they're best at, which is not running around collecting page 8 of 8 that was left intentionally blank, not actually, correcting actually data that they entered in wrong, but focusing on helping the borrower to understand their options and make them feel better about actually what in most cases is going to be the largest purchase of their life. So I think it's great. It's great actually to hear, companies like you guys are taking a very aggressive approach to put actually these great originator technology tools in the hands to make a happy borrower, because I believe happy originator, happy borrower, right?
That's exactly right. They should just be focusing on their sales boomerang alerts for the day and not be worried about anything else.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, Katherine, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. We know you guys have a lot of things going on there, but we're excited that you were able to join us, and we're really excited about our next actually presenter. Our next digital disruptor is going to be FileInvite. So, Katherine, you have an awesome day, and we're going to bring Brandon back onto the screen.
Thank you. Take care, Andrew. Bye.
All right. Brandon, what's going on? How are you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good. I gotta say, things have been going great. It's really I'm having a great day. We've had actually some great presentations, but we saved the best for last. We saved the best for last. We feel listen. The reality is actually that I think in so many cases, what you guys are doing. Well, I know actually a lot of high-end companies use you guys. A lot of actually a lot of very digitally focused companies, but I feel like actually this is like one of the easy ways that companies can have a major impact on their digital process by just starting to work with you. So even if they're just starting their digital transformation, this is like a layup to be able to start the process. Would you agree with that?
100%. This is a very easy win for a lot of companies. It's often the beginning of their digital journeys and moving improvements across their whole systems, and it's a great place to start. Fantastic.
We have to acknowledge that right now your local time is 6:07 a.m., right?
That is correct. Based here in Auckland, New Zealand.
Which is crazy, because I've been able to reach these guys all times of the day. I've been able to reach them actually early in the morning. I've been able to reach them, later. I got to be frank. When I originally actually thought about working with you guys, I was worried about that. But you guys just never stop working. Always actually working on the product, figuring out ways to actually to help the mortgage bankers, the mortgage brokers out there, just kind of better their experience. So I'm going to bring your presentation on here, so you can share and take it away, Brendan.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So yeah, I'm here to talk to you today. Closing loans faster. It's something we've some of the other presenters have talked a lot about. The customer journey and the systems that you're using, and I'll talk a little bit about how FileInvite fits into that. But first off, who am I? My name is Brendan Fallett. I'm an account executive here at FileInvite. Typically, I'm working with COOs of lending organizations. They've generally come to us with one of three priorities. One is around the customer experience. They realize that the document collection process for the customers is rubbish, and they want to fix that. The second is around the amount of time their staff are spending chasing up documents, getting the right documents, and processing those documents. And then the third is around the security of information. So I'll talk about those three things today. And obviously talk about FileInvite, which is the simplest, most secure way to collect documents. So FileInvite, who are we? Yes, based here in Auckland, New Zealand. We were founded in 2013, originally founded by a company that was involved in building websites. And as part of that process, they were collecting a lot of digital assets to build those websites, and they were collecting those documents by email. So, photos of staff, text descriptions, and they realized fairly quickly, doing a large volume of these websites, that was not a great way to manage the collection of those documents. So originally created a tool to manage the collection of those documents and those digital assets, and then realized that actually this is a problem that many organizations had, and we've naturally found a home in the sort of lending space. We collect the mortgage documents for around 30% of all mortgages in Australia. We work with banks in around the world. We work with a lot of small business lending or SBA lenders in the United States. We work with mortgage companies in the States and with some banks. And want to talk about why email is a terrible way to get sensitive information off people. So you've heard a lot today about all of the effort you put into generating leads, working out when somebody is ready to buy. You have the meeting with them, you work out what sort of loan that you're going to offer them or work with them to get, and then it comes time to collect the documents, and you need all of the documents essentially before you can close the loan. And so what you do is often people will just fire off an email with a list of all of the documents that you need, and then sit back and pray that they all get delivered to you. But one of the things I want you to think about when you're, as part of that process, is email is actually a fairly inconsiderate way to collect those documents. So email, it's a very easy thing for us to send. We throw in somebody's email address, we probably pull a templated list of documents, and we fire that off to them. The process for them in receiving that is actually quite difficult. So there's often a number of different systems they're collecting those documents from. So they're downloading statements from their bank, they're getting accounts from their accountant, they're taking a photo of their driver's license, and so they're using their cell phone to get a photo of their driver's license. They're then having to get that onto their computer to then get that into an email and send it back to you, and they're having to manually keep track of all of those things. And so if you've ever dealt with professionals when they're asking you for information, you'll realize that it's quite a burden to think about. I've got to get these documents across to them. I'm going to set some time aside at the end of the week, and I'm going to go through everything and get it to them because I know this is a task that I have to do. And so that it often means people are delaying getting documents back to you. It's quite inefficient. So from the customer point of view, it's not a great customer experience. From you and your staff's point of view, it can be quite inefficient. So there's a number of different ways customers will return that information. Some of them will just send email after email with all of the documents as attachments. Some of them will wait till they've got everything and then send them back at once. And then often you're getting email chains getting created with documents, and you're saying, oh, you haven't sent me this document. And they're saying, yes, I did. I sent that to you on Tuesday. And you're going back into that email chain, and actually, they did send me that document, and you open it up and it's the wrong document. And so you're saying, hey, form 1092 is wrong. And they're saying, what the hell is form 1092? And there's a lot of back and forth that can happen around documents, especially because you're very familiar with the types of information that they need to supply to you. And it's something that as they only do this process once, they might not be as familiar with the information that you're asking for. And it's fairly insecure. So in terms of collecting sensitive information, 96% of phishing attacks start in email. It often doesn't comply with privacy laws, and you're then storing personal information both in your email system, and then you're taking it out and moving it into the back-end systems that you're using. And so FileInvite, what we do is, as I mentioned, we make it easy for customers. So the customer receives a link both in their email and on their cell phone, which opens a secure portal. So it's as easy as receiving an email list of documents, but rather than a big list and a huge workload that you're dumping on them straight away, they get a link, they just hit that link, and it's going to open up a portal. From there, they can easily take a photo, upload or documents, or sign PDFs, and fill in digital forms. So it's super easy for them to upload and get that information to you. And when they're done, they hit submit, and that's going to notify you that all of the documents that you've asked for have been supplied. So as far as a customer experience, it's much nicer. One thing I'd like to point out here, and some of the previous people sort of briefly touched on this, but this is what customers expect. When you go to order a pizza, you're going onto the pizza company's website, and they've got a process that they're going to step you through. They're not going to supply you with a list of ingredients and ask you to send them an email to request that and build that pizza. There's some logic, and there's a way that they step you through the process of choosing what you want, choosing the add-ons, hitting submit, and just making that journey easy for you. And we're essentially trying to do the same here for collecting documents. With the millennial generation, this is what they expect. For your team, we're also going to make things more efficient. So we ask you to select a template. A template has a checklist of documents that you're wanting to receive from the customer. You share the link with the customer. There's some approval workflow. So as those documents start to get returned, if there's anything incorrect, you can ask them to correct those documents, or you can approve them. There's going to be some reminders so that we automatically chase up the customer and make sure we get those documents off them on your behalf. And you're going to receive those documents in a processed manner. And so what I mean by that is often customers are, as I mentioned, taking photos. They've got a whole range of different formats. We're going to take all of the documents that they supply to you. We're going to convert those into PDF, and we're going to rename them so they're all structured data for you to use and move into your system. So as a result of that, there's a few things that I would expect to happen. So using FileInvite, we would expect, depending on the size and complexity and the number of documents you're asking for, we would expect documents to get returned to you anywhere from 2 to 3 times faster. So Ryan from Fundera, they measured their document turnaround time, and they saw a drop from 42 days down to 15 days. Those were for commercial loans, so those potentially had slightly more information requests than in the mortgage space. But that's a very typical thing for us to see, is that documents come back anywhere from sort of 2 to 3 times faster. And that's as a result of just making a seamless digital experience for customers and making it easy for them to chip away at things, to open up that portal, upload a document, and keep track of what they've returned on their behalf, and taking the work and the burden off them. In terms of the back end and processing the information, we would expect to see a reduction of around 50% of time involved in chasing people up for documents, checking documents, and correcting things. So Aussie Home Loans is one of our customers. They've got about 2,500 people using FileInvite. They save around 2 hours per application. And so that's from not having to chase people up as much, having all of the communication in one space with the customer, and getting everything renamed and processed automatically. And then lastly, and this was again touched by one of the previous speakers, the core business of people should be talking to the borrowers, helping them understand what loans they're going for and what the process is. It shouldn't be around collecting documentation. So being able to say to a customer in the meeting, I'm going to send you a FileInvite and get you to upload the documents. It will walk you through that process. It means you can leave the document collection at that, and then you can then have the discussion about the type of loans that they're after and the process there. So you can spend more time doing what you're best at and not chasing up documents. And so these are some of the things here, but I'll just pause there and yeah, do you have any questions there, Andrew, or anyone else in the chat have any questions? Sorry, you're muted, Andrew.
Muted, yeah. You think I'd learn this from doing actually 3 webinars a week for 15 years, but no, still actually just getting used to the mute button. So talk about actually integrations. What kind of integrations do you have actually, with any kind of CRMs or loan origination systems that are out there here in the US?
Yeah, so we have an API, and so we do custom integrations for customers when they need them. the built-in ones that we have at the moment are with things like cloud storage solutions. So if you've got your Google Drives, your OneDrives, some of those types of common platforms, we can synchronize all of the documents with those tools automatically. Otherwise, yeah, we build them on a sort of case-by-case basis depending on what the customer needs.
Fantastic. So, and as far as company size, is there a particular company size that seems to be like the sweet spot, for the FileInvite technology?
No, so we have FileInvite clients that have only one user on the platform. We've got FileInvite users with thousands of users on the platform, and it's not just in the lending space. The lending space is where most of our customers come from, but any company that's collecting documents, we work with banks where they've actually realized that actually they're collecting documents as part of the onboarding process. So as you're adding new staff, they'll send them a FileInvite to step through the process of supplying their personal information, their tax information, their bank account details. So yeah, any sized company and any process where you're collecting documents, FileInvite's a great option for.
Got it. Talk a little bit about your onboarding process. So someone actually is looking at this and saying, okay, I need actually to be able to start actually managing documents in a more cohesive manner. I need to start actually getting involved in e-signatures. I need to actually have live forms. They want to do this. Like, what is your onboarding process for most companies?
That's a great question. So, one of the reasons people are using emails is you show up for work on day one and you've got emails, you've got an email inbox and you've got a calendar, and that's why they're using emails to collect documents. What we like to do is not just throw this tool at you. We like to really understand your workflow. So how are you generating leads? How are you initiating those conversations with people? How are you having that first conversation? How are you then, when do you start to collect information? So one of the things you can do with FileInvite is before you have the first meeting, you can send them a fact find, collect some basic information off them, and that will determine how you have the discussion with them, and that will determine what documents you need, and so you can add those requests in. So it really helps us to understand how do you do your sales process, and then once you start collecting those documents, how do you pull the trigger on asking for the documents, and when those documents get returned, what are you doing with them? Who's checking those documents? Where are you storing them? Where are you moving them to? And so we really like to understand all of that, and then we will work with you to make sure that the change management is going to work so that it's a seamless onboarding for the actual originators, and then we basically get the system up and running for you. We will generate all of the templates for you, and then it's just a 1-hour webinar with the originators to show them how to use the tool. It's a very simple tool to use, so it doesn't take us long to get them up to speed, and they're away running. So yeah, that change management process and understanding how to slot FileInvite into your process is a very important part of the onboarding.
So it sounds like a very bespoke experience. So like, my company is vastly different from all of your other companies. When I'm onboarding, you're going to analyze my process, potentially make some recommendations on other things you're seeing other companies doing, and then say, all right, this is what we got to do, and put your process into my process.
That's 100% correct. FileInvite is a very flexible tool. For example, there's a number of different ways that you can get the documents out of FileInvite. So you can download them as a zip folder. You can synchronize them to your cloud storage solutions. You can download them as compiled PDFs. So we really need to understand what you're doing with those documents in order to make that implementation work and save you as much time as possible.
That's fantastic. So listen, and if you're watching this, you want to know more about FileInvite, their link is on OriginatorTech.com. You could catch it over there, and of course, here it is right there in front of you. FileInvite.com/OTech, and free trial. Thank you, I appreciate it.
So we have a 2-week free trial. So yeah, visit the link. We have a 2-week free trial, which will set you up with a multi-account, so you can have 3 users on that. You can set up your templates. You can send out invites to people and really test the system. And you can also book a call with me. I can have a bit of a discussion with you as to what you're doing at the moment, how your process, what it looks like, how FileInvite would fit into that, and the benefits we would expect you to see. So yeah, more than happy to have a discussion with people, understand their workflows, and make some recommendations. So yeah, visit the link. I'll also drop it in the comments for people.
That's great. So without paying any money, I'm just going in right into this, and I can start a free trial. I can, work with you actually and understand from your expertise, maybe ways I could enhance my digital process. But you'll look at my process and create actually a workflow based on that, using like the FileInvite environment. That's great. That's awesome. So please check out hit that link right over there, fileinvite.com/otech. And Brandon, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Have a great day.
All right, and everyone, thank you so much for joining us for another Originator Tech. We're really, really excited to have you for this one. I mean, this has been great. We've had some unbelievable presenters here, some great technology. I'm just going to put this up on the screen again. That's important. That's a very, very important phrase that I think we need to actually understand. This is going to be happening. This is going to be happening fast. And this is something that we need to take charge of. There are companies out there that are doing an unbelievable job, like we saw with assurances, but these tools are all out there. All of the presenters that we brought to you today are like things that you can do as small or large companies, but just put together the plan, like in Alex's presentation that he first brought up. Companies that are going to succeed are those who have a plan to, not just those who want to grow. So thank you for joining us for another Originator Tech. We're going to be doing the next one in, I believe, February. So everyone have a great rest of 2020 and looking forward to an amazing 2021. Andrew Berman coming to you from NMP. Thank you for watching.